Hello guys, and Ukrainian drones keep demilitarizing Russia, and not just on land but also in space. This is exactly what happened tonight when the unknown drones, that's how Russian media describe them, targeted a very important for the Russian intelligence station, that was Russian space reconnaissance system Zvezda, located quite far away from the Ukrainian border, and it was a part of the global complex that helped Russia spy against your countries to collect important military and commercial information. And it was also loud tonight in Crimea because our drones kept demilitarized the military equipment of the invaders, and I think this war started with the annexation of Crimea, and it must end with the return of the peninsula home to Ukraine. So let's discuss what happened to that extremely important space reconnaissance system and what were we doing in Crimea. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, the only working peace plan, subscribe, we discuss all of that on the channel. And let's start with this news about Zvezda. Zvezda can be translated from Russian as star, but it seems like it was a falling star, targeted by the unknown drones. Zvezda is Russia's space reconnaissance system. Well, like the system that they use to spy against you, because everything Russia does is against everyone else. So this system was used as a part of Russia's space, radio, and electronic surveillance, intelligence, reconnaissance. And surprisingly, actually not surprisingly, I'm being sarcastic here, it was built in 1970. Literally, all that Russia has is old Soviet crap. Their tanks, their equipment, it's either old Soviet crap or something borrowed from North Korea, together with North Korean soldiers, which is definitely not a sign of strength of the Russian army. But even when it's outdated, it was still working because, Soviet Union was really strong during that Cold War hysterics. And this system is a part of this global complex of Russian reconnaissance system, and it collected the information. By targeting one, you to some extent paralyzed the work of the rest. Zvezda system was mainly developed for this satellite signals reconnaissance, catching them, analyzing them, also for the spying on intercontinental communication system. And what is interesting, not just on this foreign military systems, foreign military communications via space technologies, but also commercial, because part of Russia's warfare is hybrid. And they use the knowledge they can collect, the data they can collect against countries that cannot predict it. And I am sure a lot of problems in your countries are actually caused by Russian hybrid interference, but at this moment of time, we just don't know it, or we choose not to know it. For example, this blackout that recently happened in Spain, Portugal, in the south of France, it does look very suspicious. So, interference in the elections processes, lots of conflicts that they want to, fire up. And they collect information also from the satellites, from various intercontinental communication systems. And actually, when the unknown Ukrainian drones target such objects, they bring more safety and security not just to Ukraine, but also to the world. Please share these videos if you share my opinion, and subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. And I'm very happy to read in your comments that right now more and more people actually understand that Ukraine is no more you know, a country that constantly needs support, but it is also an extremely valuable asset in our joint efforts to end these brutal wars and blooming of authoritarian regimes. We observe a lot of dangerous conflicts, a lot of tension in the regions that are far away from Russia or Ukraine. But trust me, they are fueled, they are inspired by Russia. And the fact that so many war crimes, so many violations of the international law still did not stop the Kremlin is unfortunately an inspiration for countries like Iran, for countries like North Korea, and for many others authoritarian regimes that observe and get their inspiration from what Russia does to Ukraine, to Georgia, to Moldova, or many more other countries. So the targeting and damaging of this Zvezda space reconnaissance system in Stavropol region, quite far away from the Ukrainian border, is a good sign and another proof. Ukraine needs NATO, but NATO also needs Ukraine. Sum ups if you agree. And this night was also loud in the temporarily occupied Crimea. These occupant authorities, so-called, keep reporting that they managed to stop hundreds of drones, but perhaps they managed to stop many of these drones with their military objects, you know. That is a typical Russian approach to stop a Ukrainian drone with your military objects. I don't mind. It typically leads to these waves of detonations and serious destructions. And I need to remind you that the demilitarization of Russia is not just about justice. It's also about saving thousands of innocent Ukrainian lives. And I think not only Ukrainians, because this side of evil is already global. And countries who've been occupied by the USSR, by the Russian Empire, they don't need any additional evidence or proof. They do know Ukraine must win this war. And we have the determination. We have the people. We are like super motivated. All you have to do is stand with us united and do not prevent us from defeating the evil. Because unfortunately, I believe still there are a lot of people who are afraid of the collapse of the Russian Federation, when in reality, first, it has already started. It's an inevitable process, and it will not lead to a nuclear war or something like that. It's a natural process. Empires do not survive in the 21st century, but strong democratic nations must. Let me know in the comments below what are the other topics you would like to discuss, and remember to join me tomorrow for our live. I've missed you tremendously, so see you 9 p.m. Kyiv on the channel. Join me on X, Threads, Blue Sky, Discord and Instagram. I'm sharing more of everyday life there. Check my video on the new channel where I try to explain broader what are the reasons of the Russian invasion, and no, it was not Russia's fear of NATO. Check this video. I consider it very, very important, especially in the context of some of Trump's speeches and these distorted messages in the media. And check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. That is a great honor and allows me to film and think and write more. Thank you so much. But most importantly, thank you for your demonstration of your support, for the letters that you write, phone calls that you make, for a lot of beautiful things that you do on a daily basis to support Ukraine, to support freedom, and to support justice. Thank you for being friends of mine and friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!